Hello friends, in this video lecture, today we'll see the parallel ports in 8051. In 8051, we have 4 parallel ports named as port 1, port 0, port 2 and port 3. The size of each port pin is 8 bits. So you can see that each port pin is numbered from 0 to 7. P1 is numbered from 0 to 7, P2, P0 and P3 all are numbered from 0 to 7. So each port pin is having 8 pins. So each pin can be configured as an input or output port pin. For example, P1.0 can be configured as an input pin or output pin. Similarly, P3.3 can also be configured as an input or output pin. So that is, each port pin can be configured as an input or output pin. So you can see that port 1 is very clear. That means it doesn't have any other functions except that it acts as an IO port. So whereas other ports you can see that they have multiple functions. So, but port 1 is having that is port 1, it acts only as an IO port. Whereas port 0 that acts as an IO port, as well as it is having other functions, that is address data multiplexed AD0 to AD7 pins. And you can see port 2. So port 2 is having it also acts as an IO port, and in addition to that it also provides that means that it is also used for higher order data bus, that is A8 to A15 higher order data bus. And port 3, so 3.0 to 3.7 is port 3, and it is also having multiple functions like P3.0 is used as a RxD, 3.1 can also be used as a TXD, and 3.2 and 3 they are used for interrupts, and 4 and 5 they are used for timers. Similarly 6 and 7 pins they are used for write and read operations. So only the port 1 is used only for IO operation, whereas all other ports they are used for IO operation, and also they are used for different other functions. So now let us look into the, and also you can see that port 1 is numbered from 1 to 8, and port 0 is numbered from 30 to 39, and port 2 is numbered from 121 to 28, and port 3 is numbered from 10 to 17. Now let us look into the internal structure of the port 1. So if you look at the internal structure of the port 1, it is having 3 main blocks. One is the input buffer, and the other one is the latch, and other one is the output buffer, output driver. So this port 1, this can be configured as an input port or output port, and also you can see that port 1 is very clear, that is it is used only for IO operation. So this is the port 1. So this can be used as an input port, or it can be used as an output port. Now let us see that how this port 1 can be used as an output port. So if this port acts as an output port, so you can write the values, binary values 0 to the port pin, or you can write the value 1 to the port pin. So let us see that if you apply a value 0 to the D input, then to the latch D input, the latch functions as when clock is applied, that is when high clock pulse is applied to the clock. So you need to apply the high clock pulse to the clock pin, and whenever the input is applied, so the change in input is tracked at the output. So that is the output. It simply tracks the input, changes in the input whenever the clock is high, whereas Q bar is simply the complement of the Q output. So whenever a positive clock pulse is applied and an input is applied to the D input, so that will appear at the Q output. Now you made the clock high and applied a 0 input to the D. Now the output that appears at the Q is also 0. As Q is 0, Q bar will be 1. So when Q bar is 1, that Q bar is connected to the transistor. So when Q bar is transistor base is a drive with value 1, then the transistor goes on. So if the transistor goes on, then the VCC forms the ground path, that is the VCC is connected to the ground through the transistor to the low resistive path. Then when you read the value at the port, then the value at the port pin is 0, as the VCC is connected to the ground through the transistor, so the value at the port pin is 0. Now let us write a value 1 to the D. So if you want to write a value 1 to the D, then the value at the Q is also 1, whereas the clock pulse is high, and we applied value 1 to the D, and output at the Q is also 1. Now the value at the Q bar is 0, so 0 to the transistor, that is if 0 is applied to the transistor, then the transistor goes off. So if the transistor goes off, then you don't have this connection to the latch connected to the port pin. So simply VCC is connected to the port pin. So the value that obtained at the port pin is 1, that is the high value VCC value is obtained at the output port, so 1. So you can write in this way you can write a value 0 to the port pin, or you can write a value 1 to the port pin. Now this is how the port 1 that acts as the output port, and you can write the values 0 as 1, 0 and 1 to the port. For example, you can connect an LED to the output port to the port pin. Then if you write a value 1 to the port pin, then the LED glows. So unless you change the input, the LED it glows on. So it just stays in its on state until you change the value at the input. So this is how the port acts as an output port. Now let us see that how this port can be used as an input port. So if you want to use this port as an input port, this is somewhat a typical operation in making the port used for an input operation. So now let us see this operation. So the first thing you want to do, if you want to use the port as an input port, the first thing you want to do is you want to write a value 1 to the port initially. So already now we have done that operation, writing the value 1 to the port. So when you write a value 1 to the port, then you'll have a 1 here, and the transistor is in off state and VCC is connected. Now you can read the value at the port pin. So you can read two operations, that is two read operations are performed here. One is the read latch operation, another one is the read pin operation. So read latch operation is used to read the latch output. So you have a D latch, so whose output is Q, that is connected to the read latch buffer. So if you make this read latch control signal high, then the output of the latch is written into the buffer, read latch buffer, to the internal bus. Whereas if you want to read the port pin value, then this read pin is made high. So if the read pin is made high and read latch pin is made low, then it allows you to read the value at the output port pin. So port pin value is read and placed over the internal data bus when the read pin is high and read latch pin is low. So this is for one port pin. So for example, in the place of X, if you take it as a 0, this is for P1.0. So likewise for 8 port pins, you need to use 8 latches, 8 D latches you need to use. That is 8 type of internal structures of port 1 should be used for having complete 8 pins of the port 1. Now this is shown only for one port pin, that can be for any port pin. And now when you read the value, so you'll get some value that is available at the output. So now as the value available at the output is 1, so when you read the value, you'll receive the value as 1. whereas if you want to receive the value or read the value 0, this port pin is connected to some external device, like a keypad can be connected to this port pin, as a keypad is an input device. Now we want to use this port as an input port. A keypad can be connected to this port pin, and through the keypad you can pull down this value to 0. Then you can use the read pin line to read the value at the port that is 0. So you can read the value 1 or 0. For before reading the value, what you want to do is you need to apply the value 1 to the port pin. So this is how the port acts as an input port or output port. So while it acts as an output port, you can write a value 0 or 1. While it acts as an input port, you can read the value 0 or 1. Now let us look at the port 0 and port 2 operations. Now let us look at the port 0 and port 2 operations of the 8051. So port 0, it is having two different functions, as we have seen earlier. So port 0 is having two different functions. One is it acts as a IO port, another one is it is used for multiplexed address data. So it is having two different functions. So we are using a multiplexer, 2x1 multiplexer to select one of the function, whereas in port 1 no such multiplexer is used, because port 1 is having only one operation, that is a IO operation. But for port 0 it is having two different operations or functions. So we are using a multiplexer, that is a 2:1 multiplexer, to select one of the operation. The remaining operation is very similar to the port 1 that we have seen just now. So by using 2:1 multiplexer, you can select the port pin operation, or you can select the address data operation. So for that, a control select line is used. So for that, simply a control select line is used. So when this control select line is 0, then it selects the port operation, whereas if it is 1, then it selects the address data operation. So by using the control select line of the multiplexer, we can select the IO operation, or we can select the address data multiplexer bus for the external memory access. So this address data bus, they are used for external memory access. So we can select that address data bus by making the control line as high, that is 1, and you can select the IO operation for the port by simply making the control signal as 0. And you can see that, so whenever Q bar is 0, and for IO operation, and your control signal is 0, so one of the input for the AND gate is 0, so the output is 0. And if the Q bar output is 0, then this also 0. So if the AND output is 0 and this is 0, both goes to 0, then output that you obtained here is 0. So this 0 output is obtained for the value written 1 at the input. If value 1 is written at the output, then Q value is 1, then Q bar is 0. So for value of input 1, you are not getting a 0. That is both the transistor goes off. That means it goes to the high impedance state. So that means you are not you are not getting a value 1, or you are not getting a value 0. You are simply getting the value as a high impedance value. That is, you are not getting the value 0, or you are not getting the value 1. Simply you are getting the high impedance value. So here you can use a pull-up resistor. So you can use a pull-up resistor, and then you can make this value as high, so that it is connected to, use a pull-up resistor, then it is connected to VCC, and then you can make the value as high. That is how this port 0 works for the value input 1. For the value input 0, then the Q is 0. So that is for D input is 0, Q is 0, and this Q bar goes to 1. So this 1 and control line is 0. So this transistor goes on and this goes off. So this goes off and this goes on. So when this transistor is on and this is off, so the port pin is connected to the ground through the transistor, so it will receive the value 0. So this is how This port 0 can be used as an output port for writing the values 0 and 1, and the same port can also be used as an input port, just like the port 1 for reading the values 0 or 1. And similarly, by making the control line as a high, you can select the address or data operation. Now port 2 is also very similar to the port 0, except that port 0 does not have a internal pull-up resistor, but this port 2 is having internal pull-up resistor. The remaining operation is very similar to the port 0, and you can see that for port 0 you are having both address or data, but for port 2 it is only used for address. So only address is given to only the address pins are connected to the 2:1 multiplexer. So the remaining operation of port 2 is very similar to the port 0. So we can see one simple operation, like if you apply the D input as 0, then your Q input goes 0, and your control line should be 0 for input output operation. Then you will get 0 here. So when it is 0, then by using a NOT gate, so you will get the value 1. So this transistor goes on. So when this transistor goes on using a NOT gate here, so your transistor goes on here for 0, then VCC is connected to the ground, so value that you get here is a 0. So in case if you write the value 1 here, then your Q bar is also 1, then 2:1 mux output is also 1, but the control signal is 0, so this is always 0, output of AND gate, and this is 1, then output of the NOT gate is 0, then the transistor goes to off state. So if the transistor goes to off state, then this output is pulled high through the internal resistor to the VCC, then it becomes 1. So this is how you can write the values 0 or 1 to the port 2, and the read operation is just similar to that of the port 0 read operation and port 1 read operation. Now let us look at the port 3 operation. So port 3 is having several functions. That is, each port pin is having a different function, not like the port 0 or port 2. That is a port 0, its complete function is that is address data multiplexed, and port 2 is completely used for a higher order data bus, higher order address bus. And but for port 3, you can see that each port pin is having different functions. That is P3.0 is used for serial data transfer, and port 3.1 is also used for serial data transfer for transmitting the data. One is used for receiving the serial data, and you can see 3.2 and 3.3, they are used for generating the external interrupts or getting the external interrupts. And 3.4 and 3.5, you can see they are used for a timer, they are used as a timer inputs. And 3.6 and 3.7, you can see they are used for write and read operations. So in addition to the IO port operation of the port 3, so port 3 is also having alternate output and input functions. That is, you can see some of the pins they act as output pins, and some of the pins they act as input pins. So port 3 is having some alternate output functions and alternate input functions, and also these port 3 acts as an IO port. So the remaining operation is very similar to the other ports. So you can see that if value 0 is given at the D port, then output at the Q is 0, and you need to apply the clock pulse. So when input Q is 0, then for obtaining the value 0 here, so when the input value is 0, then you need to get a value 0 here. For getting the value 0 here, the output of the NAND gate should be high. So if the NAND gate output is high, then it drives the transistor to the on state, then you will get the value 0 here. Whereas for input 1, the Q value should be 1, and the output of the NAND gate should be 0, then only we'll get the output as 1. So this is the remaining. So this is the alternate output and input functions. So port 3, it is simply used as an IO port, and it also has got a different alternate input and output functions. So it can also be used for different input and output functions. So that's all, friends. This is how we can use the parallel ports of the 8051 for accessing the port as an input port or output port for connecting the input or output devices.